Well, aloha kakahiaka, everyone. So good to be back. Thank you all for taking care of our ohana over the past over the previous show. I'm here, with my friends. I'm with Dylan Nonaka, who is from the Big Island, and I'm here with Heidi Dollinger, who is from Lahaina, Maui. Good to see you guys. We're waiting for Ashliey to jump in whenever she does, but in the meanwhile, we are going to be let's warm up these microphones. Let's get the show on the road. Welcome, everyone. Good to see you all. Why don't we kind of start with you, Heidi? Heidi, give me the magic coffee formula. What's going on what's going on with you today, Heidi?
Well, as I think everybody knows by now, I love starting my day with a cup of Maui coffee, and I've been just trying to go and support the local coffee shops here that are still open in my area. So I went to Badass Coffee this morning, and I'm definitely enjoying it. I recently traveled off island, and one of the things I missed the most. I mean, there's so much to miss about Maui, but it was the quality of the coffee. I mean, you can't you can't beat Maui coffee in my opinion.
Few things beat. I mean, coffee in and of itself in the morning is tough to beat right off the bat. Let's just kind of stop right there. Just that first sip of coffee is amazing. Having being able to kind of walk outside your house and go down to Badass Coffee Company in Maui, overlooking the ocean. That's got to be a winner. I forgot here to go over the lineup. Let me do that first before we move over to you, Dylan. So here's what we got for you guys today, and we're using chapters. If you're going to watch this after the fact on demand, there's chapters in the video. You can kind of click to the direct segment that you want. But we've got your lineup for today. E como mai means welcome, everyone. Welcome to the show. We're going to start with some Hawaiian news after we kind of warm up the microphones over here. And then we're going to have some market updates. We got Dylan and Heidi, and I believe Ashliey is trying to connect in. So Ashliey, keep trying, girl. You're almost there. And going to get some market updates. I've got a bunch of questions that were submitted as well, as far as your live questions. So we want to get all that in. Look, if you're here, let us know where you're from. Say hello. Get to know the community. Like, for example, Michael Lott over here, Aloha from Colorado. Hey, welcome, Michael. I actually just got back from Colorado. My one of my daughters has moved to Colorado Springs, and we had a great time there. It was wonderful. So welcome, Michael, and Kenny Olenek. I wish for the coffee. I'm assuming you're talking about the coffee, Lena. So welcome, folks. Let us know where you're from. All right, good. Let's get back onto our friends over here. Yes, Heidi, the coffee. Walking out for the coffee, can't beat it. Now, Heidi, I got to ask you, do you have like a certain like place in your house with a view? What is like your ultimate coffee positioning?
Well, sitting on my lanai uh, and looking at the ocean, I could see the island of Molokai in the distance, and just kind of looking over the tops of the trees. That's my peaceful place in the morning, or at sunset. So
Man,
yeah,
no.
that's a good place to drink the coffee, or just walk across the street to the beach and just look at the ocean. I think getting outside a couple times a day and just doing something active, or even if it's just a short walk, that just makes such a big difference in life to me. So, and one of the benefits of living here on Maui is it's always nice and you can always go outside.
See, now here's the thing that's so cool, and I want everyone to pay attention to think about. I'm going to bring back what Heidi just said, because what you just heard, what you just got, is a classic example of this is how locals brag on their pecking order in the nicest possible way. I don't know if you all caught that. You all caught that, but here's what Heidi said. She said, one thing that I love doing is sitting on my lanai, looking out over the ocean where I can see the island of Molokai. And it's like, can you beat that? No, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. I'm gonna walk across the street to the beach. Bam. And everybody in Hawaii, when we all heard that, we're like, oh man, that's so awesome. Damn, I want that. I want that lifestyle. Oh God, that's so cool. That's That's the way that kind of we appreciate Hawaii. This is kind of how we kind of show what the life is and how much that we dig it by saying those simple, and it was the most, I loved it, Heidi, because it was like true. It was true and it was innocent. But everybody's like, oh my God, I want that. I want that view of Molokai over the Mailanai. God, if I could have that, that'd be
Well,
so
I'll
totally
just add
awesome.
too, I mean, I don't live in a huge home. I don't live in a fancy place, but I mean, I choose to live in a place where I can see the ocean and be really close to the ocean. So, I mean, it all depends on what your values are and what you're looking for.
Even more so, that piles it on. That piles it on, Heidi. See, it's beautiful. This is, gang, you are all getting a master class education right now in what Hawaii is all about. What Heidi just said. It's not a big house. I don't have a gigantic place, because that doesn't matter to me. What matters to me is to be near the ocean, to have the views, to be able to see Molokai from my lanai in the morning with the coffee. Heidi, thank you. That is master class, Heidi. Master class in what Hawaii is all about. Hey, let's say hi to a few folks who have jumped in. Barbara, welcome, Barbara. Welcome back. A good coffee in the morning, good wine in the evening. There you go. That's the combo. That's the combo. That's the combo, Barbara. That is the combo. Hey, Alex, welcome back. Aloha, peeps. That is good to see. And Alex agrees. This is the dream life. That's it. Living the dream. Living the dream. That's what it's all about. Excellent. So, okay, we've talked about that enough. Dylan, what's going on today, buddy? What's the shirt, and what do you want to share today about what's happening on the Big Island?
So on the topic of coffee, I was gonna bring up. Yesterday I was reflecting at dinner with my wife that I kind of overdid the coffee yesterday. So yesterday I flew to Kauai to do some meetings, and so I woke up in the morning and drank a cup of coffee on the way to the airport in my car. And when I got to the airport, I went to the Hawaiian Lounge, got a cup of coffee there. Then I got on the plane, asked for a cup of coffee on the plane. And then we got off the plane and went to a restaurant and had a little late breakfast meeting, had more coffee there. And then we go to the venue where we did this little event. And at this point, I was like no self-awareness on how much coffee I'd already drank. And so I asked for coffee again, and they didn't have it. It was like a brewery. So, but somebody had overheard me and they wanted coffee. So they went across the street to a coffee shop and got another cup of coffee and brought it back. And then after that, at the airport flying back, I went to Starbucks. So that was like a overload day. And for whatever reason, luckily, I don't really get affected by it. I think, I don't know if it's because I'm a over abuser of coffee, but I was like, are you gonna be able to sleep tonight? I'm like, yeah, I'll go to sleep like a baby, no problem. So yesterday was probably like an 8 cup of coffee day. So definitely enjoyed it. But kept me going. It was a long day, but never ran out of any the juice. So
never, man. That's that. It's kind of funny because I'm quite a sensitive coffee drinker. I do my one Starbucks stainless steel insulated coffee mug. One of these guys in the morning. My patented brewing process, and that's it. That's all I can do. And can't have it late because I'm super sensitive. I'll be up all night. So credit to you. Hey, is there something that you want to share about what give us, you have a family update. I'm going to pop it. Why don't you start the story of your son, and I'll pop it on the screen here so we could all see the story.
I just got this picture texted to me this morning by his teacher, but it is Halloween, right? So it's Halloween day at the middle school. And so my son is Grumpy Bear for Halloween, and like father, like son, he is the broadcast guy in the morning. So he does the morning announcements on camera and talks about what's for lunch and whatever else is going on in the day. So I just thought that was a cool picture to wish everybody a happy Halloween, since this is our happy Halloween show.
That's right. This is the happy Halloween show. The favorite holiday of pagans. The favorite holiday of pagans all around the world. So I'm glad you guys are all doing that. And hey, Ashliey's made it a little bit of a different camera angle, but Ashliey, we are glad that you're here. Glad that you made it. What's the latest on what's happening over there, Ashliey? How's your morning going?
Well, my computer is currently rebooting and aligning itself. So I apologize. I'm still trying to do it right now. So I'm going to switch over on you, Peter. But I mean, if you want my coffee update, I have a Breville espresso maker. And so either my daughter or my significant other makes me a coffee every morning. And I'm not so sensitive. I can have it throughout the day. I just choose not to. So I don't get it like a withdrawal if I don't have more than 1 cup. However, I think in the winter, just because it's a little bit more rainy and cozy, I will have to increase that to 2. Yes, I think I'm enjoying some rain clouds that are hovering nearby just because the grass could use some greenery. But it's been so beautiful. I think October, I've noticed, I've only been in Hawaii like 13 years, but I've noticed October is sort of a weird hot month. It's like the hottest month that I've observed. And then all of a sudden it just goes straight into our winter rainy season. Do you guys notice that as well?
That's a really good point. It's definitely definitely that September, October. Certainly in October, you get that there's a good chance that you're going to get Kona winds. It's a good chance you're going to get some rain. Definitely, as somebody who's kind of had to watch the weather patterns for a long time just because of the surf, October is like that special month where we get that magic. There's that magic combination. So I'm going to go off on this for a minute. There's a magic combination that comes around the month of October. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I've got videos on the YouTube channel for every single month of the year. And I talk about this in October, but we have Kona winds, which means the winds normally blow out of the northeast, but Kona winds blow out of the southwest. And so it's a different direction altogether. And it hits my favorite body surfing spot, Makapu'u, and it hits it in a perfect way where Kona winds blow offshore. And the magic is that in October, on certain days in October, the swells, sorry again, I'm gonna give you a surf lesson here. The swells come out of the North Shore and they wrap around the island, and you got North Shore waves hitting Makapu'u, which is on the east side. You have North Shore waves hitting Makapu'u. So the North Shore comes to us, and we have the offshore winds. It is perfect conditions. It happens maybe once or twice a year. These are the days to die for. The days to die for are those offshore Kona winds, North Shore, Makapu'u. Man, it's like that's the one. Hey, welcome back, Ashliey. You've switched your camera. The reboot was successful. Good. Hey, let's say hello to a few folks who are kind of chiming in over here first. Kinaya, welcome. Kinaya is an alumni of the Island Ohana. Great to see you again, Kinaya. Checking in from Austin. Aloha.
I'll be in Austin for 2 weeks from now for a conference. I'll be there for 2.5 days or something. So
all right, man.
Looking forward to it. Never been to Austin.
I've been to Austin once, and the part, two things that stuck out to me about Austin that I really loved. One was the bumper sticker that said "Keep Austin Weird." I thought that was really, really fun. I really enjoyed that. And the bats. There's this huge bat thing where the bats kind of gather under this one bridge, and it's kind of like it's a tourist attraction, and the bats kind of do their thing. So Kinaya, welcome. Good to see you. I'm glad that you are back. And Alex is commenting on all those years in the military. That must be about the coffee thing that you are relating to. All right. So did we catch everybody? We got Dylan's update. We got Heidi's update. We got Ashley's update. And Ashliey has rebooted her computer successfully. And now she's giving us the nice wide shot. Great. Excellent. All right. Let's move on, gang. Let's do a quick news update. Got a couple of things that I thought are kind of interesting, and maybe we might be able to talk about these things and see how it all goes. But welcome again, everybody. Make sure you let us know that where you are from. First of all, Amazon's coming to Hawaii, which is kind of cool. They're going to have a $415 million investment. Looks like Amazon is going to be developing a kind of a sort of a caching warehouse, if you will, on Oahu near Sand Island. It's very anticipated. They're going to hire like 500 people. And that's going to mean that Amazon is going to be even more of a treasure for the islanders than it ever has been. We love our Amazon Prime. It's an amazing thing. Those who were here pre-Amazon know what it's like. And so we're going to be super happy about that. Hey, Hawaii is joining. There's 33 states. Hawaii is one of 33 states that are suing Amazon over alleged harm to kids' mental health. I don't know about you, but Facebook has driven me crazy for like the longest time. I definitely can say speaking personally for myself, I have suffered mental anguish over Facebook many, many times. But yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see how that goes. We've talked about the Lahaina recovery a bunch of times, and Heidi, I'd be curious to kind of know what you think about this. But there's some stories going on that they're saying, experts are saying the wildfire recovery could take a decade, cost more than Maui County's entire budget. So that is not a surprise. I think we've mentioned those numbers before. We've thrown these numbers around, a kind of a 10-year recovery. It's certainly going to take years to even get to the basics. So it's going to be we have a long road. And another thing, Heidi, I'd love to have your comments on this. If you're seeing any changes, it looks like all of Maui, except for the burned area on Lahaina, of course, but West Maui is open to the visitor industry. And so that's going to be interesting to see what's going to go on, not without its controversy. Of course, some people are for it, some people are against it. It'll be interesting to see what the visitors think. And then finally, those Mideast tensions, of course, you must be following what's going on in the Middle East, Israel, Hamas, etc. The experts, local economists are, which is typical in Hawaii, by the way. Local economists are saying that Hawaii's going to probably benefit, right? Because the world is not a stable place right now. If you're going to go for a vacation, why wouldn't you want to go to the safest place on earth, the most protected place on earth, the most well defended, remote isolationist? There is no place better than Hawaii, and so Hawaii rules once again. So all right, that's the quick update for today. Pop any questions in if you've got it. Why don't we kind of move into let's go to a market update and get what everyone's kind of doing. I'd like to get some updates. If you got some comments on the news, of course, we'll love to hear anything that you've got news wise. Why don't we start from the bottom up? Let's go Ashliey and then Heidi and then Dylan. Give us the market update. I've seen there were some stories. I was going to include them as well, but I ran out of space. There were some stories about that. The market's kind of a large part is kind of slowing down, and even more so. But I don't know what the story is. Ashliey, what's going on Oahu? Fill us in on Oahu's market update and anything else you want to talk about as far as Oahu goes.
I think there's not a huge update from our 2-week intervals overall. I know interest rates, or a lot of people probably following interest rates, went up again, or there's discussions of them going up again. So that always spooks buyers a little bit, and they kind of pump the brakes. And we were seeing that we were coming into a strong holiday season compared to previous years. And I think that's still true. But just in the last 2 weeks, we did see a few buyers say, we're going to wait until after the holidays to make any decisions, which is on par for, our traditional November, December sort of predictions of what's to come. There was a surprising statistic for September, because October stats don't actually come out yet. But in September, there was 22% of condo sales received full asking price, and 20% of condos received above asking price. However, I've noticed in the condo sector that that's homes that are in turnkey condition. Condos that are not, I think, have really long days on market. Something I think pretty normal pre-COVID market is our listings. We see the highest amount of activity in week 3 and 4, opposed to week 1 and 2, like during the COVID boom. And then the inventory for our island of Oahu has gone down significantly on North Shore and Ewa, approximately 46 to 47% down in inventory, which is huge. However, Kaneohe in the east side had seen a small increase of 25%. So it's just an interesting, market overall. We're seeing a lot of unknowns. But with that said, I think that's why people just need to go over their own financial situation and see what makes sense for them. And, when you do buy a home, there's things to consider, like having these fixed rates. So rentals, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the rental market as well, with all of the shifts and people looking to relocate to Hawaii and, from Maui and in the mainland with virtual work and such. So having secured mortgage payments, I know, has brought a lot of people comfort in recent conversations due to rentals just completely cutting their lease with 30-day or, short notice, and or increasing their rents. So as far as what's to come in November, it'll be interesting. I think it's going to be the same. I don't think we're going to have a big dip. I think the reason is because we're still not going to have a lot of new inventory come on market.
So I was that was a that was a surprising number when you said that the inventory on you said the North Shore and the Ewa side, which is the west side of Oahu, dropped 47%. That's a huge drop in available inventory. Do you have any kind of sense of that as to the why? Is it people are taking their homes off the market? A lot of times that we've talked about this, right? If you're a homeowner, unless you really need to move, you're going to pull your home off the market because you don't want to move and especially if you're sitting on a low interest rate mortgage right now, you may not want to move because you're going to move into a high interest rate. So kind of hold yourself back. Or is it sales? Do you have any sense about that at all, Ashliey? I don't expect you to, but I was just kind of curious if you've got any sort of,
I think it's just the fact of the interest rate. Sellers aren't wanting, like you said, they're not wanting to sell and move into what situation. I mean, military have always been a strong driver of our market because they typically, stay for 3 years before they're stationed. So that still helps move things forward. North Shore has always had pretty low inventory to begin with. And again, we're coming into that holiday season, so everything slows down quite a bit. But also we have the flood elevation certificate to also consider. So I know at least on the North Shore, because I used to live up there for 10 years. So that was, my stomping grounds. And a lot of the conversations or a lot of the properties up there are in flood zones. So with the flood elevation certificate, I know that that's impacting a lot with our oceanfront properties there because you have high surf and not, a ton of reef protection. So I'm imagining that's going to impact in addition to just not having tons of inventory. As far as Ewa and that side of the island, I think it could be the only thing I could think of is the rates, people not unloading the property. Because you're still going to we're going to see that change because during PCS season, that always increases significantly. So we're not in PCS season right now. PCS is
excellent.
Change of post.
Yeah, no, those rates are making a big deal. Oh yeah, Paul is back. Hey, Paul, welcome. Please tell Ashliey that I enjoyed my stay at the Mahalo Work Resort Dolphin Work Camp. There you go. Well, hopefully, Paul, you are doing your part to save the dolphins because that's what you need to be focusing on, buddy.
Thank you,
while
Peter.
You're out there.
But I'm glad you enjoyed it, Paul. But I'm still going to try to save the dolphins.
That's right. Yes, those dolphins, they need saving, Paul, and that's your job. That is your job while you are at Kahala is to save those dolphins. Thank you. Heidi, give us I am really interested to kind of hear what's the Maui market's got to be fascinating. I just can't even imagine how things are moving around and fluctuating with the Maui market. Maybe not, but what have you been hearing, Heidi? What have you been observing? What's going on with Maui's market? I'm really curious.
Yeah, a lot of people have been asking about the Maui market and what have been the impacts on the Maui real estate market since the wildfires. And our office has actually been tracking the data very closely. And if you're interested in data, I can send you week by week all the statistics of what's been happening. But I mean, just kind of a brief overview is real estate sales have continued. There was, a somewhat lower level than right before the fire, but I mean, amazingly overall, pretty similar levels to what was happening before. I mean, our real estate market this year was already slowing some because of interest rates, and that was impacted a little bit by the fire. But I mean, even in West Maui, properties are still transacting. The strongest part of the market right now is the residential market, like full-time homes or condos that are going to be full-time homes for people, because there's a lot of displaced people and people are shuffling around. There are some buyers right now who lost homes in the wildfires, have their insurance money and are out shopping or thinking of buying something for the short term. I would say the resort condominium market, I mean, has not been super strong the last couple months, but I mean, that's completely understandable considering there have been very few visitors on Maui. So as of October 8th, The northern part of West Maui was officially opened up to visitors, like Kapalua area, November 1st. They've announced that all of West Maui, I mean, except of course the areas that were destroyed by fire right in Lahaina town, but Kaanapali, Kahana, Napili, Kapalua, all these areas are opening up officially to visitors. So it will be interesting to see what's going to happen in the coming winter months. I mean, just like looking at the stats week by week, last week there was definitely an increase of new listings coming on the market. And seasonally, I mean, winter, early spring is our high season, is our busiest time of year. So, we're just kind of closely watching week by week, and, we'll see what the next few months bring here on Maui.
I am really looking forward to kind of seeing, and again, it's kind of, what's been really fun about doing this show on a 2-week interval is that there's never really any radical changes, right? There's never any really radical. It's always sort of this kind of incremental, almost like the weather, incremental kind of slow moving changes. And even, despite there being like major shocks to the system for, like one thing or another, whether it's been COVID hitting Hawaii, or the Middle East issue, or of course the Lahaina fires, there still doesn't it. It's an amazingly, I've observed it's Hawaii's market is amazingly resilient, and especially this thing, I'm really quite surprised, Heidi, that there's not been, again, major shock waves as the result of the Lahaina disaster. But it will be interesting to kind of see over the course of, let's say, the next 12 months, right? As the course of the next 12 months, when you've got all these residents that were living in resort hotels as a FEMA, as a temporary kind of a housing thing. What's going to happen with that when that kind of comes to a close? What's going to happen with those folks? Where are they going to go live? How is the market going to get affected? Is it going to affect the rental market? Are they going to be moving to the Big Island, or are they going to move to Oahu? All that dynamic, it's going to be really interesting to kind of see what the next 12 months is going to
There's
say.
a moratorium on increasing rents, and then the governor was also discussing a future eviction moratorium and extending the moratorium on increasing rents. So it's just going to be interesting to see how some of those policies play out, and what the effect is on the market. But I mean, even though it's been we're still within a few months from this wildfire disaster. I mean, it's still really early to really see what the true effects are going to be long term on the market.
Yes, exactly. It is very early. It's too early to tell and there's a lot of sort of unnatural market forces that are kind of keeping things from moving the way they normally would. The moratorium is going to be interesting. On one hand, the economist in me is crying out right now. But whenever you have a moratorium, if you cap the price on something, it may feel morally good to say, okay, you can't raise rents, or you can't raise this or whatever. You can't raise rents, for example, rent control, right? Feels good, but whenever you cap the price on something, you're going to get a lot less of it. And so it'll be interesting to kind of see how that all turns out. But yeah, Heidi, it is too early to tell. Hey, a quick shout out to Sue, I think it looks like you're coming in. If I look at your icon, you're coming in through Dylan's channel, which is fantastic. I'm glad. I wish YouTube would notify me when you go live. One thing you could do, you could talk to, if you know Dylan, or if Dylan knows Sue, get on the newsletter as well, because I do the newsletter does have the quote official YouTube channel link, which will notify you, and then you can get notified. Then come in through Dylan's channel and watch it on Dylan's.
And I also believe you click the bell you subscribe, plus you click the bell on the channel. That's when you'll get notifications of new videos and folks going live and stuff.
Thank you, Dylan. Even better, Sue, click on Dylan's channel, which is, I believe, where you came in through. Get onto Dylan's channel and click the little notification bell. You'll get a notification anytime any of Dylan's channels, any of Dylan's videos pop on, including this one, because he's linked into it. So Sue, welcome. We're here, and you will be notified when YouTube goes live if you follow that process. All right. Hey, that's been a really great input so far. The market is always amazing. Dylan, I'm really curious to kind of hear kind of what's been the effect on how's the Big Island being affected, if at all, what things are changing around, what's happening on the Big Island's market.
Well, my theory was, going back to Maui, that there would be more activity because folks that were potentially going to shop on Maui would get pushed, or folks looking to relocate would get pushed to the Big Island, being that it's similar and from an affordability standpoint, it's more attainable. But we're not seeing that happen. So what we're seeing in the last couple of months is, just if we look at this year, market activity, number of sales were climbing. We kind of bottomed out back in January at 288 sales for the month, which is extremely low. And it's kind of climbing back up. And then we hit 500 sales in June, which is kind of where the average is. 5,000 to 6,000 sales a year is what it would have equated to. And that's pretty normal. But then in June, we had a huge drop off. So in July, there was 361. In August, there was 428. And then in September, there was 387. So much lower. That recovery dropped off in the last 3 months. And this month, we've only had 305 sales month to date with only 4 days left in the month. So this is definitely going to be one of the lowest months in the last 12 months in terms of number of sales. So market activity is slow from the number of sales that are happening, but the number of listings that are on the market are not increasing. We're still stuck at like 1,800. It doesn't kind of fluctuates, give or take 50 or around 1,800 total listings for the whole island. And so even though there's less properties selling on average, there's just not new stuff coming on the market, or the inventory is not filling it. So the result is we are at almost exactly the same median price today as we were 12 months ago. So prices have not changed. They haven't really increased very much. They haven't really decreased very much. And of course, there's sub markets that varies. But overall, as an island-wide market, we're exactly on par where we were 12 months ago. So it's an interesting kind of dynamic. And what I'm seeing from, what do you care about as a consumer? I think there's two things that messages I've been putting out there is, one, to sellers. Obviously, it's still a good time to sell because you're going to get, you haven't missed the boat, right? I mean, yeah, you haven't had, if you sold 12 months ago, you probably get the same price as you do today. So that's one thing to consider, is you haven't missed the boat in terms of price. And because inventory is low, it's still a great market to be a seller because there's just not that much inventory out there to look at. But then the weird thing is, on the buyer side, it's also a good time to buy right now because there's very little competition. Like, buyers' mentality has been suppressed. Interest rates are high. All of those things, war in the Middle East. I mean, there's all these things that have gone into the buyer psyche. And I'm seeing a lot of seller concessions. Like, buyers are coming in with, 3-5% less than ask price, and then the sellers are just accepting it. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, I think they probably could have countered and got a higher price, but so all of that negativity is also playing into the seller mindset, and so they almost feel like, man, my house has been on the market for 3 weeks. I better take what I can get, right? Because they're still stuck in that mindset of 12 months ago, where you would get 15 offers in the first week. And so there's a really weird dynamic where both sides are affected mentally by the media message. Maybe not. It's not reality, but it's having an effect on the market for sure in those individual transactions. And so if you're in the market to buy, you're ready, willing, and able, it's a really good time to not have to compete with other folks, and you can actually get some pretty good terms, maybe some seller credits to bite on your interest rate and different things. So yeah, it's an odd market, but a fun one. It's always fun. It's always fun to solve problems in different situations. So,
and I mean, and that's the fun of it, right? The fun of it is kind of following, kind of going with the flow, kind of this nomadic lifestyle, so to speak, where you just kind of follow where the market goes, and you can't control it, so you're going to ride with it and kind of go with the ups or downs about it. I am really curious. I'd like to just to have some speculation here. Is that what do you folks think if you had to make? Okay, so here's the question. We're talking over the next 12 months. You get to make one prediction. It could be about anything about the market, anything. It could be about where you think the price are going to go, what the effect of the Maui market's going to be. I'd love to kind of know about that one. Interest rates up or down. Market's going to be the same. It's going to change. If you had one prediction, what would you what would you kind of throw out on a purely speculative basis, purely speculative over the next 12 months? Let's say if we kind of go back and in next year at the end of October 2024, we look back at today's episode. What would it be? What's a speculative thing? Why don't we, Heidi, let's go with you and then Dylan and then Ashliey. So Heidi, it's pure speculation, gang. So I'd just love to hear what you think. Heidi, what do you think?
Well, yeah, thanks for all the disclaimers, because I mean, none of us have a crystal ball.
No one's got a crystal ball, and we're going to probably be wrong. We'll probably be wrong. Okay, even more. We'll probably be wrong. But what would you say?
I mean, I think our winter season, we're going to see a little bit more activity, but I think going into this next year, we're going to see more of the same in terms of number of sales being lower, than it was the last couple years. I think we're through the point of rapid appreciation, and prices will kind of remain in the same range, and appreciation is going to be more gradual in the next couple years. But I mean, just because of the low inventory in general on Maui, I just don't see, there's not been enough new construction. There's not going to be enough new construction. I think that is going to keep prices strong. And I mean, on Maui, almost half our sales are all cash. So, I mean, the interest rates definitely affect our market, but also buyers are kind of coming to terms with the interest rates now. I mean, it's the new normal. They could be at this rate for a long time. I mean, if they go up in the future, that's great for the buyer. If they go down in the future, you can refinance. So I don't think that's really going to have much impact on the market. So yeah, I just kind of see a continuation of the same for right now.
Good prediction. I lost track of who I said was going to go next. Is it you, Ashley, or are you, Dylan? I forgot who was going to go. Ashley, why don't you go next? What's your prediction? What do you see for the next 12 months, knowing that you're going to probably be wrong and it's okay? What's your speculation?
I think perhaps the interest rates are going to go back up. I think that the war in Israel and Gaza is going to potentially have a huge fluctuating role in what's going to happen, just because we have such a strong military presence here. But if it stays consistent to, the trajectory we see right now, I think the rates will go back up. I think that the inventory will still stay tight, so it'll stabilize the purchase prices. I think we're going to have very neighborhood specific highs and lows. And then I think that we're going to see the rates come back down potentially at some point to help stimulate the economy and the housing market. And then we're going to see an increase of that inventory and buyers come into the market, but not a huge increase in sales price, just lower days on market. And I think we're going to see more creative loan options and more people getting into different types of loan products, which I have my own prediction for 2 to 5 years later from here. But I think we're going to see overall fairly consistent values. I don't think we're going to have more than 3 to 5% fluctuations up or down.
Excellent. Great. That's a great collection of predictions there, Ashley. I'll be looking forward to kind of seeing how that all kind of pans out. A lot of stuff that you mentioned there, and thoughtful as well. The Middle East war is a big, huge wild card. Dylan, what's your take? What's your crystal ball take over the next 12 months or so?
Of a simple one, I think interest rates will be within a half point of what they are today. They're not gonna change significantly between now and 12 months from now, unless the disclaimer with that is unless Jerome Powell gets squirrely and wants to help affect the election, and somehow it's 6 months prior to November next year they reduce rates to try and speed the economy up. So there's an effect on incumbency, right? When the economy is good, it's usually the incumbents win, and when it's bad, they lose. So it's really the market's in the hands of the Fed and what they do with interest rates. But I think given what's going on in the world and economically, what's probably best is to keep the economy slowed down, so we don't continue to see 10-15% appreciation year after year. I don't think it's good. They're seeing that it hasn't been good for the market, and it's not good for affordability for the general home buyer, first time home buyer, or our generation home buyer. And keeping rates high is the best thing to do to keep the market under control. And so we'll see. Politics is going to have a big effect on it next year. Election years get weird.
It's going to be a very, I would definitely agree. I think it's going to be a very weird, some might say scary year next year, depending on how it all goes. You've got a lot of really interesting kind of things that are kind of all coming together in kind of a very, very strange way. You've got the war, you've got the election, you've got this, and this election in particular is a very, very odd one with the what looks like will be the candidates for the between the two political parties. How that's all going to play out, it is going to be a wild one. Strap in, everybody, because it's going to be a wild ride. Hey, a really quick shout out to Sue. Sue has clicked. I have the bell clicked, but they never notify me. I'll subscribe to the newsletter. Check that out, Sue. See what's going on with that. You should be getting some kind of a notification. But it's all technology, right? So YouTube may have God knows what kind of things you may have to deal with on YouTube to set the notification, and the notification goes to an email, and the thing is going to go.
The issues with notifications is I get about 75 an hour, so they're very easy to miss from all the different apps. Right? If you go open up the notification bar, there's 17 pages of notifications. So.
And I have been so diligent on my, I hate getting notifications because to me it's like, my OCD, ADHD, the last thing I need is more things to kind of jump in and notify me and jump in and kind of interrupt my day. So I've been really, really diligent about I turn off every possible notification on every possible app, that only the ones that are truly, truly, truly worthy of my attention are the only ones that I go to. Are you getting a kick out of that, Ashley? Yeah, your generation is all about the notifications. Ding, 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 ding.
No,
ding, ding,
I'm
ding,
an old soul. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I don't like social media either. And I'm just a zombie to it because of the business that we're in. That's how you connect with your audience and everything. But oh my gosh, I have everything shut off on my phone via notification. I don't have any social media. I don't have any emails. Even my texts don't notify me. I have to manually open them because I just hate them. But I do have pickleball apps that notify me.
The pickleball app. All right. Well, there you go. There you go. The pickleball apps. Excellent. I am surprised. That does surprise me, Ashley. But yeah, I'm definitely in that camp where keep the notification. I mean, I got a couple, but just the ones that I do want to be notified on, and that's not too many. All right, gang. Hey, let's move on. If you have any questions, make sure you pop them in the chat. We're kind of a little bit past the halfway point. Got a couple of questions. I had one question. I don't have a slide for it, but I wanted to ask it about cesspools. I had a question from one of our Islander Ohana members asking about cesspools. Do they stink? And my thing is no, unless they're broke, right? Unless cesspools are broke, they're pretty much, you'd never know that they were there. Is there anything else you guys want to add to that as far as cesspools go?
Yeah, they pour a concrete cap over the top that's usually 18 inches thick, and so it's sealed into the ground. And yeah, there's no smell that comes out of them.
Okay. All right. No smell unless something goes wrong, unless it leaks or it breaks or whatever kind of thing is. But yeah, 18 inches thick. That's what I thought. Thank you.
I might have a failing cesspool right now on one of my properties, and it's a personal property of mine, and I just love it. And I just poured 12-inch concrete driveway pad just a year ago, and I think it's failing. And a failing cesspool can be where it's just taking on water when it shouldn't. And so there's not extra sewage, it's just taking on too much water. And we're currently trying to figure it out because I have one house that's lower on the property line and one that's elevated. And the elevated house has no issue, but the lower structure is. And the cost to connect that, you have to check to see if your county has sewer. If it has sewer, then you have to connect to it. If it doesn't, then you upgrade to a septic system. And that typically can be cheaper if you have some connections, but I'll have to connect to city sewer. And a bid for a connection, someone who's got connections is going to be $20,000.
Yeah, well, that is the That stinks.
That was funny, Heidi.
Heidi, thank you, Heidi, for being lighter on your feet and quicker than I am. I was trying to come up with some kind of a pun about that, but that was a much, that was the best one. Thank you, Heidi. Yes, I appreciate it. And hey, Sue agrees, says, hey, you guys are too funny. This is one of the few I actually have the bell turned on for. Well, Sue, Dylan is honored, and we are all honored. Thank you, Sue, for having us on your notification. If there was anything worthy of notification, it would be this one. Hey, Alex is back. Alex Peckerman. Alex, welcome, buddy. Alex is an alumni of the Islander Ohana. Good to see you. Hope all is well, my man. Good to see you back with us. All right. Thank you for that quick update. Hey, so we got a question that came in today a couple days ago, and this is from Jack from Glen Burnie, Maryland. He says, I'm considering buying a motorhome to live in permanently once I sell my home here in Maryland. My question would be, are there RV parks that I could travel to and from around the Big Island or any of the islands in my motorhome? What's your advice? Interesting. I don't know what the rules are, but RV, there are no RV parks that I know of in Hawaii, and RV motorhomes, not too many of those. Dylan, give us
the simple answer to this is no.
There you go.
No, period. That's the and I guess to qualify that, I mean, there's no zoning for it. There's no provided parks or anything like that. And people who bring them here thinking that they're going to live cheaply, it's not that simple, because if you can't tap into sewer, water, power, which a park lets you do, right? You pull up and you just plug into all that stuff. And it makes it, a reasonable way to live, or just to camp for a week or whatever. Here you can't. And so if you want wastewater, you're going to have to build a septic system, which is going to cost you 15 or 20 grand. And you can't even hook up to power because it's an unpermitted structure. So you're not going to get county power to you. And then if you want water, you're going to have to build like a catchment system, because county water is not going to connect to an RV. You have to have a permitted structure to get county water. So it's really not a practical way to live.
Thank you, Dylan, for giving us the best objective explanation as to why there are no RVs in Hawaii. I never really give it that much thought, but yeah, you just don't see RVs. What about Maui? Let's go to Maui and then Oahu. Heidi, what's the RV situation like in Maui? Is it the same thing, or what's the story?
I've never seen an RV over here, and I mean, one of the things to keep in mind too is you're on an island. I mean, there's only so many places you can drive in the RV. And if you're really exploring Maui and you want to go to some of the remote beaches and go out to Hana and go on the north side of the island, I mean, these roads are pretty narrow, winding roads. Personally, I would not want to drive a huge RV on some of these roads on Maui. And yeah, I haven't seen RVs. I mean, there's some people that don't have homes and live in their cars, but I mean, that's not a recommended way to move over here.
Definitely not a recommended way to move over here. And yeah, it is interesting. There are no RV facilities. I think I maybe seen not, and you wouldn't even call it an RV, but one of these sort of like pickup trucks with a like a bed on the back or something like that.
A camper on it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we see those for people that, like, if you're going to go to the beach and surf all day and spend the day at the beach, yeah, there's people that have camper vans, and they'll have those tubes for water and everything, but that's not a way that people are like living in day to day. It's more of a recreational type of thing, like just for the day.
It's a fancy pickup truck that you take to go to the beach and kind of hang out and go surfing. Ashliey, what's your take on the RV situation on Oahu? Does it all kind of coincide?
Yes. However, there are people on the North Shore on these large ag lots and I don't know where they're advertising from, but I just know of them. And they do let people come and park their vans or camper vans or RV-like structures and stay there for short periods of time. It just has to be mobile, and you have to be in a community that doesn't report those types of activities. But again, if it's mobile, you are allowed to. You're just not supposed to charge a rent, obviously, because that would be a business, and you can't do that in a residentially zoned or ag zoned lot. And then I know, some people that have ag lots, and they will ship in not the RVs, but the the trailers, not the driving portion of the RV, but just the actual body of it. And they'll use those as temporary housing with catchment systems and solar until they get the permits to build their house. So that's common too, but you have to buy the lot. You have to buy the land. So there are communities, there's pockets, mostly on the North Shore here, that you could ask to put your van or your RV onto the lot, but you can't drive it around the whole island. You can't park it at a bunch of locations. So it wouldn't be very advantageous or fun. Small container homes and tiny homes are becoming a little bit more popular, however.
Now that's interesting. We've talked about that a bunch of times about tiny homes and container homes, and that the numbers don't really make that much of a difference. And it's interesting. There's a whole other topic. We should probably have a whole other show about it. It's like, I'm also curious as to why there's no like trailer parks, so to speak, in Hawaii. How come there's no,
haven't talked to county council people about that. It's a deliberate thing not to have trailer parks, right? So they don't have they don't have zoning for it. So I'm sure if they made it possible, somebody, some industrious, entrepreneur would make it happen, because there would definitely be demand for it. But yeah, you can't even get the approval to do that right now.
Yeah, Hawaii has an extraordinarily regulated real estate market, right? Extraordinarily regulated real estate market, and that kind of you could almost, and you brought up some slides about this before, Dylan, is that, this goes back to the 70s, right? And in this right around the early 70s is when the regulatory environment in Hawaii radically changed and became very, very highly regulated. And ever since then, prices have been kind of steadily rising at a very high rate. All right. Hey, good. Hey, gang. Let's move into our. Let's move on. Let's get to our diamonds and deals. We'll work on this. We got aspirational properties. Again, if you got any questions, pop them in the comments. We'd love to take them. But let's move on over here and let's see what do we got going on over here. This is an Eva Beach property. So that must be you, Ashliey. What are we looking at? Great sunrise or sunset view there.
Yeah, this listing is fresh off the press. I'm actually trying to go live with it right now. So it's not even technically on market yet. It will be as soon as we get off the show. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom. The square footage does not match tax records. The key thing about this property, one, it's an old Eva. So what old Eva, new Eva is very gentrified. And there is a lot of zero lot lines. So your lots are very structured and you have very, specific condo rules and HOA rules around the color of the houses, your parking, etc. So some people like old Eva because you have a little bit more flexibility. This particular property has enough parking for 6 cars roughly in the fenced area, or a boat, a fishing style boat here off to the left. It's the parking is separated by concrete and pavement. And it's also got a large fenced grass backyard as well, with a mango tree that's been matured and pruned. And then the living, it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom on the main portion. And then on the side of the home, attached and part of the interior square footage, but could be just closed off with the door, or is closed off with the door, is a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. So you can use that for rental income or multi-generational family.
Yeah, and this is like a little bit of everything, and I like the way it's been prepared or staged, if you will. The interior looks modern, so it's got its nice sort of upgrades and good price.
Yeah, got brand new electric, brand new wiring, brand new panel, all new underground plumbing, including up to the sewer lateral line to the street. It has new roof. It has double wall. New vinyl windows. They added 4-can recessed lights throughout the home as well. Floor to tile ceiling in the bathrooms. It's got, the little things like the doors that have the blinds inside of them. It is a renovation. It's a flip, but they are detailed. And the owner who did flip this home, he's born and raised Hawaii. He's Hawaiian. He's Hawaiian homelands. Good guy who just really, truly loves to create win-win situations and getting distressed properties, people out of distressed properties, and then renovating them and bringing them back into the market for our home buyers.
Someone's going to be really happy with this one. Someone's going to be really happy with this house. This is like a great combo of all kinds of things. So excellent showing. Thank you, Ashliey. That's a good one. Dylan, what do we got over here? Man, the view. What a view.
Well, this is the overhead view. It's got the 134 that shows you where in the complex. But this is one of my favorite complexes out in Waikoloa Village, or not Waikoloa Village, Waikoloa Resorts, and it's actually one of the older complexes. But because of that, it's really large, and so from a square footage standpoint, you get almost 1,300 square feet interior, and then it has a over 500 square foot lanai. That and this is a ground floor unit, so you can walk right out. So it really feels like really spacious for a condominium, just a 2-bedroom condominium unit out in Waikoloa. These rent super good. You can walk right across the street. The Waikoloa Hilton is right across the street, but then there's ocean access that goes down. So lots of restaurants you can walk to. Just cool resort living if you're looking to live somewhere, and also really great vacation rentals for short-term vacation rentals out there. So just one of my favorite, the shores at Waikoloa Beach. And this is kind of what you're going to be dealing with. You know, it's a million plus bucks now for something good out there. So, but you can make the numbers work in terms of short-term vacation rentals out there.
So this unit here, for example, if you bought this unit as let's say I had an email from some Canadians a little while ago. So if you're a Canadian and you can't like relocate here legally, but you can come here for like, let's say the winter months. So like you're the snowbird, you come out here for, let's say you land in January and you kind of hang out until April. And then you could kind of basically, I'm assuming you could throw it into some sort of a vacation rental pool for the rest of the year. Is that right? Would this property qualify?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No issues with short-term vacation rentals. You can do, single nights if you want. There's actually a management office on site. I mean, you have options if you want to privately manage it, but if you want somebody on site that's going to manage it and clean it, it's super easy. It's kind of feels like a hotel, right? You just check in and then you go to your room. Yeah, but definitely a great option. The consideration in your situation that you're talking about though, is that if you're using the condo during the premium months for rents, you can't necessarily expect to turn a profit. You may cover your costs for the year, and maybe break even, but you want to get a rental manager involved that's going to really run the numbers for you and let you know. But the rents can definitely fluctuate pretty considerably during the winter months, and so if that's when you're using it and taking it out of the rental pool, you're gonna take a big hit on your income.
Right. Yeah. There's always market forces that you have to kind of deal with. But at the end of the day, a few extra bucks, and then hey, you're in good shape if you wanted to do so. Yeah. Excellent. Great property. So this view that we're looking at is a drone shot, if you will, basically.
Yeah. And then you can see the little 134 pointing to it there in the middle.
Okay. I'm gonna
showing where the unit is in the complex. So it's facing the golf course. If you're into golf, there's like.
You're on the golf course there with that thing.
Yeah, there's 2 there, but then there's the Monolani and there's several others. So there's several championship golf courses out there. It's just, if you want the resort living life, Waikoloa is super awesome, right? I mean, you got great shops, great restaurants, lots of beach access. It's a cool place if that's what you're looking for. Definitely. And easy. Turn the key and leave, or turn the key and let the rental manager rent it out for you. So you don't have to worry about maintenance or anything like that.
For the right profile, this is like the perfect spot. Yeah, it's really nice. Excellent. Okay, let's move on.
The last thing I forgot to mention on this is, if you go back, if you look at the countertop, I should have made this bigger. It's the only second property I've ever seen with these Van Gogh countertops. You kind of tell they're all kinds. They're real colorful. I mean, some people are super into them. Some people think they're crazy, but I just thought that was really unique. That I've seen this in one other home in the past, but they're these really beautiful colored, several different multicolored Van Gogh granite countertops. So you can kind of see it in the picture, but if we blew it up, you'd see it better.
Does every unit have that, or just this unit?
No. This one, these are all individually renovated. So people put their own personal touches on them.
I don't like colored countertops, but I really like those.
Yeah, they're cool. It looks like Starry Night. That's why they're called Van Gogh. That's kind of like the vibe you get from them. So
I like Dylan's descriptions, by the way. They're very factual and a lot of detail, and nothing about the actual design aspect of it. And he's like, oh, and by the way, super fancy countertops.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the masculine feminine difference, right? You know, the masculine side doesn't care about design, we care about functionality, you know, square footage, renting it out, get the place, right numbers, right place, right side. And whereas the feminine side says, oh, the countertops are this, and it's got the lighting that, and it's got the double, it's got the
I
beautiful
like
mango
the
tree in the
contrast
back.
because Dylan is so masculine in his descriptions. Heidi, you're very
Exactly.
feminine and you're great at detailing, things and romanticizing it, which really, paints this beautiful picture. And I feel like I'm right in between. Like I'm
It's just we
neither.
have this wonderful, this wonderful yin yang balance. That's kind of what was my one of my goals on this show, was to kind of pull that all out. So that's a thank you for recognizing that, Ashley. Very, very true. Hey, we got a question here from Tom. Tom says, team, I've been listening to your show over the past year and bought a place at Woodlawn subdivision last December. By far the best place to own a home on the island. Tom, I hope you bought it from one of us. Don't be telling us that like you've been listening to us for a year and then you go off and you buy something and you don't use the team. So I'm hoping. Tell me, Tom, give me the good news here, buddy. Make me feel that it was worth it. Tell me who you went with. I want to hear that you went with one of the team. Let's put a little bit in there. All right. Anyway, hey, let's move on. Heidi's got a property that I've been kind of waiting here, and very nicely. I must say, Heidi, nice job on the graphics here. That looks like,
Oh,
Heidi,
this
if
is
you
not my
turn like,
property, Dylan.
oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know who
Oh,
put that in, but
that's
could
all
you
right. That's
unhide
okay.
my
That's all
slide?
right. That's all right. Let's see.
That's
Oops.
not mine
Missed it.
either. I
All
think
right.
the
Well,
slide
hold
is
on a
hidden.
second. That's all right. We'll get there. Technical details, folks. Hold on a second. There we go. This is Kula Maui. There we go. That's the one. Hold on a second.
That
There
was a
we
slide
go.
from
How's
last week.
that?
That was a slide from last week. That's why you never saw it before, Peter. So
That's right. That's right. Is this the one, Heidi? Is this yours?
Yes, this is it.
All
And
right. We got it.
this
Thank you.
look at that thing.
this
That's so cool.
property is all about the design, and that's why I chose it. It was designed by a renowned architect from California, Marmal Radziner, and it was built about 5 years ago. It's an amazing estate in Kula Glen. As you can see, it has a beautiful view, um, meticulous native Hawaiian landscaping. There is a large home. It's very modern in design, kind of mid-century modern inspired, but modern design for today. But also it fits into the landscape. So I mean, I love the architecture and design of this property. There's the main home, there's a guest house with an art studio. There's also a recording studio on this property, and there's a separate cottage as well. And it's on over 2 acres in upcountry Maui.
Heidi, that is stunning. That's all I got to say about that. I just, I'm thinking about you in the morning coffee, and I'm seeing that couch on a swing. What the heck is that? That
This
looks
is
so
not my
damn
house,
cool.
Peter. I don't live
I
here.
know. I know. But I'm just imagining someone like sitting on this swinging couch and enjoying a cup of coffee and overlooking that insane view. And you're nestled among tropical trees there and everything. That is the ideal. What is that in front of the couch, Heidi? That looks like I don't know what that is. Is it like an infinity pool? But I don't.
Yeah, so there's a swimming pool down below. So
Damn.
yeah, it's
Hawaii
just a
houses,
gorgeous
man.
setting.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Saltwater pool. Wow. How cool. Recording studio. Hey, someone needs to buy that so we could do our shows, our shows from Heidi. That's it. You got to get this so we can do the shows from the recording studio in there. So
How much is it?
Gang. Yeah.
It's listed at 9.8.
Oh, okay.
9.8.
Get it, and then let us record there.
Boom. There you go. Right in the price range, right there. 9.8. What could be better? 2 acres. Amazing. Thank you, Heidi. That it's really amazing. Some of the one thing I definitely love about this show is these great variety of properties that we always get, and there's always a range, and it's always kind of really, really fun. I really enjoy it. It's really good stuff. All right, got a couple of comments over here. Let's say hello to some of our friends here. Harley McWater says, "I'll be looking with Dylan next year. Awesome. Looking forward to these live sessions every other week. Glad to see Peter's back. Well, I'm glad I'm back too. Thank you, Harley. And hey, you know what? Thank you for bringing that up because Dylan, I did want to. I should have said this earlier, and I apologize publicly, but I'm going to say it now because it popped in my head. Thank you, Dylan, for doing an awesome job 2 weeks ago. I was kind of all worried about it, how it was all going to fly together. And of course, ye of such little faith, right? Ye of such little faith. But, Dylan, of course, kicked butt. It was a great show. People had all kinds of compliments with it. And see, Harley says so. Dylan did great. Thank you. Thank you, Harley. Yep. Thank you. To have someone who watches the show all the time. That is what it's all about. So I really appreciate that. And thank you. Thank you, Joni Santos. Ha ha ha. Masculine/feminine thinking. This is 2023. Yeah. You know what? It is 2023 and masculine and feminine will be with us for the rest of time. They've been masculine and feminine have been a part of
I'm in
the
agreement. Call me old fashioned, but yeah, I guess you're not supposed to say those things online anymore.
I resist that. Sorry, male and female have been part of the reality of the universe for well over 1 billion years. It's going to continue for 1 billion more, God willing. So that was that. And She Who Laughs. Hey, thanks for popping up. Good to see you. Dylan was awesome. Dylan, you got a fan base, dude. You got the fan base, dude.
I got a PhD in winging it, so anytime you need me to wing it, just call me.
Hey man, you wung it. You wung it good. You wung it good. Wung it good. All right. So okay. All right. Let's wrap this one up over here. We're running a little bit late, but that's all right. We're closing thoughts. Oh, by the way, I did want to let you all know. Oh, by the way, Ashliey. So Ashliey, see, Ashliey, this is why us old-fashioned folks have to speak up because She Who Laughs is old-fashioned too. Yes, she believes. She Who Laughs, like me, believes in the radical idea that there is masculine and feminine forces in the universe, and that it does manifest itself as masculine and feminine human form. It's radical.
And to be clear, like I don't care what anyone like. I'm not one extreme or the other. I just don't care. So.
That's right. You be whatever you want. You be whatever the hell you want. You Dylan, what's your son going as in Halloween?
He's a Care Bear.
He's a Care Bear. You'd be a Care Bear for all I care.
My daughter.
He also break your arm and choke you if you threaten any of his friends. So,
he's the killer
very Care Bear of him.
very care bears. Hey, we're gonna go to our closing thoughts, gang. I did want to mention we are switching over to daylight savings times or whatever, or we're either on or off daylight savings. The times are switching. As far as you folks on the mainland are concerned, the show time is going to be the same. It's not going to change for you because Hawaii does not go with the daylight savings forward, backward switch. We're going to stay. So for us, that's you, Ashliey, and Heidi and Dylan. We're going to start at 10 o'clock on our next show in a couple of weeks. Everybody else, you folks are all going to be the same. Let's kind of close this one up. Ashliey, give us your motivational thought and how does it speak to you?
The magic you're looking for is in the work you are avoiding. I think this resonates with probably most people, maybe not Dylan, I'm just kidding. But it's again just like the procrastination, wanting certain results in life, but not doing the things that we need to do to get it. So for me, this is a sticky note on the wall. It's one of my favorite quotes.
That's a good one, man. That one strikes in the heart. That one strikes in the heart of everyone's fears, things that we are avoiding. Hey, I want just to pop onto this. So a couple of folks are commenting in. She Who Laughs. Oh, I grew up watching the Care Bears. Well, there you go, man. You missed the beginning of the show. Watch it back, and you can kind of see Dylan's son dressed up as a Care Bear. And it's November 5th. Thank you. November 5th is the day that it switches back. The time goes backward an hour. Yeah. Yeah, backward an hour because we start at 10. And then Michael Lotta agrees masculine and feminine traits are in all of us. Absolutely. Everyone's on the spectrum. Everyone's on the spectrum. Exactly correct. All right. Heidi, what's yours and how does it speak to you?
Be mindful of your thoughts. They have the power to shape your future. This is just a reminder for me always. And I mean, I think for everybody to pay attention. What's going on in your own mind and what thoughts are you thinking over and over. And if these are negative thoughts, if you have negative self-talk or just constant negative thoughts going on in your head, I mean, that can completely hold you back. And so it's good to take the time to be aware of what you're actually thinking and what's going on in your head. And that can just be really powerful in keeping you moving in the direction that you want to move in.
That is it. Extraordinary powerful. There's a lot of esoteric belief systems that kind of see this as the fundamental part of kind of creating the world that you experience, is the things that you think, and the thoughts that you hold. And Alex agrees. Be around positive people. It's an easy one. Easy peasy. Be around positive people. Thank you, Heidi. That's a good one. Dylan, what's yours today?
I heard this concept recently, and it just was like a mind blower, mind opener, is that when you have a mediocre goal, you have the greatest amount of competition to meet that goal. Where if you have an audaciously huge goal, you have the least amount of competition. And the way to think about this is there's lots of people in the world who have the goal to make $100,000 a year. There's not that many that have a goal to make $1 million a year, right? So your competition to make $1 million a year in your job or your career or your business is much lower than it is to get a $100,000 a year salary job. And the other funny way that I heard this illustrated is like, the girl or the guy who's a 10 in the bar gets way less attention than the one that's a 6, because people just don't think that they can get the 10. And so your chances with the 10 is probably greater than the chances with the 6. And so you just got to get past that mindset and set your goals and your ambitions higher, because there's a lot less competition for people shooting for the stars.
Go for the 10. That's the answer right there. Go for the audacious goal. Go for the 10. Go for the 10 in life. And what a great way to kind of integrate this whole thing here, because you've got Ashliey's statement about the things that you were avoiding is kind of where the magic is. You got Heidi's, which is the thoughts that you hold are the ones that drive what your life becomes. And then Dylan kind of sets us up right with the where the place to set our goal. So it's a great integration over there, gang. Mine is a sort of a different way of saying the same thing. Of course, it's going to be from Proverbs, and it's from Proverbs 14:14, which is, a perverse man will be filled with the fruit of his ways, and a good man with the fruit of his deeds. And that goes right along with all the stuff that we've been saying. So I hope that resonates with everybody. I love the wisdom of the 2,000-3,000 year proverbs, which are great. All right, gang, we're gonna wrap this one up. Our next show again is going to be at 10 a.m. Hawaii time. No difference in time for you. And that's going to be on November 10th, 2023. Why don't we say goodbye? Let's do it counterclockwise. Ashliey, then Heidi, and then Dylan. Say goodbye.
Have a blessed day and great weekend, everyone. Aloha.
Aloha, everybody. Have a happy Friday and a great weekend.
Happy Halloween, everybody. Have an awesome weekend.
Happy, yes. Have a great, safe, wonderful, fun-filled Halloween weekend, and we'll catch you all in a couple weeks. Aloha.